So you're ready to dive into this health and safety inspector interview prep?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a big one. Getting that dream job of making workplaces safer for everyone.
It is. And it's a career that's really rewarding. You know, you can have a real impact.
Absolutely. And we've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher to help you ace that interview. I mean, their guides are incredible.
Yeah, they're really comprehensive. They go beyond just the basics. It's not just about, knowing the regulations.
Right.
It's really about understanding, like, the whole picture.
Okay.
Risk management, human behavior.
It's true. You're almost like this workplace detective, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to figure out where the hazards are before they become problems.
Absolutely. And that's what really impresses interviewers, too, is when you can show that deeper understanding.
It makes you stand out. And speaking of standing out, RoleCatcher's Guide, it's got some real gems about common interview questions.
For sure.
But there's one that really stood out to me. Can you explain your experience with conducting safety audits? And I was like, oh, man.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Because it made me think back to, like my first aid training.
Right.
And bandaging a teddy bear. That's
Right.
a little different.
Yeah. It's not quite the same as assessing a real-world construction site.
Exactly. So how should someone approach this question? Especially if they haven't, officially conducted an audit before.
That's a great question, and it's really about showcasing your transferable skills. So even if you haven't had that, like, formal title of conducting an audit, think about times where you've identified potential risks
Okay.
and then maybe even proposed solutions.
Oh, I like that.
So, maybe you noticed a tripping hazard at a previous job.
Yeah.
Or, suggested an improvement to a fire escape route, things like that.
So it's all about being proactive.
Exactly. Showing that you're thinking ahead, you're paying attention to detail.
And RoleCatcher's AI actually analyzes your answers for this, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's like having this virtual career coach just kind of fine-tuning your responses.
Exactly. So it can analyze your answer in real time
Wow.
and suggest ways to tailor it for specific roles.
Okay.
So let's say you're interviewing for like a construction site versus an office. The AI can actually help you adapt your language and your examples to really resonate with the industry.
It's like having a customized prep session for every single interview.
Exactly. It's like having a secret weapon.
Okay, so another question they highlighted is about staying current with new regulations.
Yeah.
And this field, it's always evolving, right?
Oh, absolutely. Things change all the time. New
Yeah.
technologies, new best practices.
So what really impresses interviewers when they ask about this?
So it's not just about listing off, oh, I have this certification.
Right.
It's about really demonstrating that proactive learning mindset.
Oh, okay.
So mentioning specific industry publications,
Okay.
workshops you've attended, online courses, something that shows you're really invested in staying ahead of the curve.
So you're not just like checking a box.
Right.
You're really passionate.
Exactly. You're passionate about workplace safety.
Yes. And speaking of passion, let's talk about those tricky situations.
Yes.
Because RoleCatcher asks, can you describe a time when you had to deal with a difficult safety situation?
Ooh, yeah.
And this feels like, to me, where diplomacy and communication, those become superpowers.
Absolutely. Interviewers, they want to see how you navigate conflict, especially when safety's on the line.
Of course. Yeah.
So think of a situation where you had to advocate for a safer approach.
Okay.
Maybe even push back against resistance. It's not just about what you did in that situation,
Right.
but how you communicated it.
Right.
Did you use data to support your case?
Oh, interesting.
Did you find a creative workaround to address everyone's concerns?
Okay.
Those are the details that really make your answer memorable.
Right. And it shows you can actually solve these problems,
Exactly.
not just identify them.
Exactly.
And I bet RoleCatcher's AI can provide some feedback on how your story comes across.
Oh, for sure.
Like, is it clear,
Yeah.
concise?
It analyzes your delivery, your pacing, your tone, even like your use of keywords.
That's wild.
So it's really helping you fine-tune your storytelling
Oh, that's so smart.
to make the most impact because,
Huh?
you can have a great story,
Totally.
but if you don't tell it well.
It falls flat.
Exactly.
Okay, that's super valuable. So let's dive into a question that's like near and dear to my heart, leadership.
Okay.
RoleCatcher asks, how do you prioritize safety in the workplace? And this feels like it goes beyond just following regulations.
Right.
It's about creating that culture
Right.
where everybody's on board.
Absolutely. And they want to see that you understand it's a team effort.
Okay.
So highlight experiences where maybe you've encouraged colleagues to, really embrace those safety protocols.
Yeah.
Or maybe you came up with creative solutions to make the protocols more user-friendly.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not about being like the safety police. It's
Right.
more about being the safety cheerleader.
Exactly. You're a safety advocate.
Yes, I love that. And that actually reminds me of something from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. They mentioned that leadership skills become even more critical as you move up, like from a junior inspector to a more senior role. Right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. When you're starting out, you're mostly focused on like inspections, right?
Right.
Making sure things are up to code.
Okay.
But as you progress, you're leading those training sessions, you're collaborating with management, you're really becoming a leader in workplace safety.
That makes a lot of sense. So your communication, it needs to like level up alongside your responsibilities.
Exactly.
Speaking of leveling up, incident investigation, that's a huge part of this field, right?
Oh, huge.
And RoleCatcher, they have a very pointed question about it.
Okay.
Can you explain your experience with incident investigation?
Yeah.
And to me, it feels like they're looking for that Sherlock Holmes,
Yes.
that detective mindset.
100%. They want to see that you can go beyond the surface.
Oh,
You're not just looking at what happened. You're trying to figure out why it happened.
okay.
The root cause.
So even if you haven't led like a formal investigation,
Right.
you can still talk about your thought process.
Exact.
I
Yeah,
know.
smart. So maybe you observed a near-miss incident, right?
Yeah.
And you took the time to like analyze why it happened,
Okay.
share those observations, the questions you would ask, the steps you would take to prevent it from happening again.
It's about demonstrating that you can think critically,
Yeah.
that you can problem solve.
Exactly. That analytical mindset.
And I bet having a specific example ready to go, even if it's something small,
Yes.
it could really bring that to life for them.
Absolutely. Because it shows you're not just talking the talk.
Right.
You've walked the walk, even if it's a smaller scale walk.
Okay, I like that. Now let's talk about another really critical part of this role, training.
Okay. Yes.
RoleCatcher asks, how do you ensure that safety training is effective? And, it can't just be like a boring PowerPoint presentation.
No, absolutely
You
not.
got to make it stick.
Exactly. You want to make sure that it translates into actual safer behavior on the job.
So how do you do that?
Well, that's where, a little bit of creativity comes in and understanding how adults learn best.
Right.
So have you used interactive simulations, group activities?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Get everybody involved.
Exactly. Or even incorporating real-life case studies
Oh, that's good.
to make the training more engaging.
Yeah, relatable.
Exactly.
Okay.
And memorable. And don't forget to emphasize the importance of feedback and evaluation.
No, that's a good point.
Right. Did the training actually lead to, a reduction in incidents or near misses?
Right, did it work?
Exactly.
You got to measure it.
You got it. That's how you demonstrate a data-driven approach to safety.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly checking, did this actually make a difference?
Exactly.
Okay, so RoleCatcher has a question about kind of taking initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And they ask, can you describe your experience with safety program development? So this feels like, you're not just reacting to things, but you're actually thinking ahead.
Yeah. This is your chance to shine as that safety advocate. So even if you haven't designed a full-blown program,
Right.
you can talk about initiatives that you've championed, improvements you've suggested, even just that understanding of how to identify and mitigate risks.
Okay, so even if it's just those little things where you see something and you're like, oh, we could be doing this better.
Exactly.
Duh.
That counts.
Absolutely. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can be really helpful here because it can actually help you tailor your program ideas to different industries
Oh, wow.
and company sizes
Okay.
based on its database.
Oh, smart.
It's like having a whole research team at your fingertips.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about a scenario that I think can be a little tricky, and that's working with contractors and subcontractors.
Okay, yeah. So RoleCatcher asks, how do you ensure that contractors and subcontractors comply with safety regulations? Because it's like now you're responsible for, not just your company, but
Everyone on site.
right,
Yeah.
like extending that safety culture outward.
Absolutely. And this is where communication is key. And relationship building.
Okay.
Because you're not just, enforcing rules.
Right.
You're really collaborating with them to create that safe environment for everyone.
So it's about like finding that balance, right?
Right.
Between being firm on those safety standards, but also like, making them feel like they're part of the team.
Exactly. Having a process in place. So maybe you have like a system for onboarding contractors, providing them with like site-specific safety orientations,
Right.
doing regular check-ins to see if they have any
So it's
concerns.
that constant communication to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Because ultimately it's about setting that expectation that safety is a shared responsibility.
Yes, I love that. It's not just like checking a box.
Yeah.
It's about really creating that culture of safety.
Exactly. And remember to highlight your ability to kind of adapt your communication style to different audiences.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right. Because
Yeah.
you might need to adjust your approach when you're speaking with like a seasoned contractor versus a new hire.
That's true. That's a good point. So you have to be like a safety chameleon,
I love that. Yes?
blending in, adapting your
Yeah.
message so that it resonates with everyone.
That's such a good way to put it.
Hmm.
Because it really speaks to the heart of being an effective health and safety inspector. You're not just, an enforcer.
Right.
You're an educator, a communicator, a champion for
Yeah.
creating those safer and healthier workplaces.
I love it. Well, this has been incredibly insightful. We covered so much ground today. We
Okay.
talked about those interview questions.
Those tricky interview questions.
Yes. How to really nail your answers. Understanding the career path and how you can really shine in this role. And of course, leveraging the power of AI with RoleCatcher to really give you that extra edge.
Absolutely. Technology can be such a game changer in this process.
For sure. So for anyone out there who's thinking about a career in health and safety, go for it. It's a rewarding field where you can make a real difference.
It really is. And remember, preparation breeds confidence.
Yes.
So go into those interviews armed with those compelling stories, those tailored answers.
Yes. Have those examples ready.
And that genuine passion for workplace safety.
Yes. Let that passion shine through because people can feel it. And who knows, you might just inspire the next generation of safety champions.
I love it.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll see you in the next episode.